So, the pit. We're just going to do it on R1. Nobody escapes the pit of despair. That's from the Princess Bride movie. This is one of the most dreaded quests in the game. It is terribly confusing to new players. The map is not very helpful. Even though it's one of the quests in the game where the map is already filled out for you. There's the whole map right there. And there's you even get a pit restart guide, which if you're new to learning it, this actually helps you. It tells you what to do all along the way. Kinda, but you know, it's a pretty long little thing, but you know, step 1, step 2, step 3, you know, it's all there. But in any event, who has time for that kind of reading? Right? I came to kill troglodytes. But, you know, it's a multi-layer dungeon. It's just stacked on top of each other, a bunch of different layers. So, you know, all you get is a 2D map, but it's a very 3D dungeon. Alright, so first off, I like to use a little cheat sheet on the DDO wiki machine. So I'm going to go to the Google and type in DDO pit, and that'll take me to the DDO wiki article on the pit. DDO wiki, the single best source of information, all things DDO, and I'll bring this article up on the live stream. Boosh. Okay, and right here is a nice little cheat sheet map that I like to use because it's labeled. You know, the map in the game isn't labeled, and you know, I can never remember what's where, but here it tells you, here's main control, here's intake control, here's bilge control, security center, the furnaces, main breaker, and so on. So that's helpful. Plus it has the solutions to the rune wheel puzzle area right here at the bottom of it as well. So I like to bring that up and stick it on my second monitor over here. And again, that's the DDO wiki article. Let me position that so it's not blocking chat. There we go. So I've got that up as a helpful map on the pit. Sheckler, thank you for the follow. Alright, so notice that here at this objective, like, you have the red signal crystals up here, and red tells you that that objective is not accessible yet. At any one time, only one objective will be accessible, or only one objective is the one you're working on. If it's the one you need to be at, those signal crystals will be yellow. And yellow tells you that's the objective that needs to be done. And then once the objective is done, those signal crystals will turn green. So red not accessible yet, yellow's the one you're working on, green's already done. Now, obviously, you can tell it's not accessible because there's a barrier in front of it. But in the case of the furnaces, for example, that doesn't have a barrier in front of it. We're going to hit that just to turn off those acid jets. Okay, and then our first objective is right up here. See, the signal crystals are yellow, so we know that's the objective that we want to work on. Power up the backup generators. And this is just a shroud puzzle, just a 3x3 shroud puzzle, except instead of stepping on little things to toggle it, we're just pulling levers, and all we got to do is light all that up. And all we got to do is make an X, okay? So all we're going to do is make an X. You hit the 4 corners and then the center one. And try not to get molested by these oozes while you're doing it. Okay, and they interrupted me. And they interrupted me again. I might actually have to kill this stuff. lure it around and quickly get this center one. You'll see all those runes are lit, and I'm done. Now the quest box advances to light the first furnace. I'm going to go ahead and clear these oozes out, because they will follow you throughout the dungeon if you just walk out. And sometimes I do that. Just kill them whenever we meet again. I'm going to want to make sure I get the breakables. So again, this is a huge XP quest, so you want to make sure that you get as many of the bonuses as you can. Okay. So now we're going to go out and we're going to light the first furnace. And I know that the furnace is down in the southwest stairwell at the bottom. Okay, and see, the furnace actually has 3 objectives. There's 3 different furnaces, so that's why there's 3 signal crystals here at the top. So this tells you furnace 3 is not accessible yet. Furnace 2 is not accessible yet. But furnace 1 is accessible, but not completed yet. Remember, red means that objective isn't accessible yet. Yellow means that's the objective you're working on, and when it's green, it means that objective is already done. Another reason why the pit is a dreaded quest is because Mario skills are required. There's a little bit of climbing and jumping, and some people really, really hate that kind of stuff. And the furnaces are really these objectives are where, you know, there's all that climbing and jumping required. You want to break these eggs, that's an optional objective. Get a little XP out of it. And this valve here, you want to pull all 3 of those valves like that in the furnaces. There's 1 in each furnace, each of the 3 furnaces, and that will end up opening up the optional at the end so that you can do the named ooze at the bottom, which can drop the Mux Doom, which is a nice low B ooze beater. I'm going to come over here and just hit this valve, and that'll turn off some of the acid jets. There we go. Make it a little bit easier to navigate safely. In the next update, they're going to be increasing the range of Warlock Blasts by 20%. That's pretty cool. And if you want to, there's another valve over here that you can use to turn off some more of the acid jets, and I think that air jet there too. Alright, so I'm going to go over here, over here. Yeah, it's definitely a good change. If you want, you can use a blue fire shield. Austin Scott. Are there requirements to join my guild? Yes, there are. So you're going to get blasted by some fire elementals in these in these furnaces. So, you know, a blue fire shield that absorbs 50% of fire damage is going to be really helpful. So we're a friends guild. We're a long-time guild. We've been around for over a decade, and so we're not a startup guild. And you know, we have a pretty good sized group, so we're not, you know, in a position, we never openly recruit because we don't need people. We don't need numbers. You know, we're filling our own raids, and so there's no reason to be out there actively recruiting. However, a part of our success, and I think an important part of any guild success, and this leads to some guilds dying over time due to attrition, is that we never stop taking in new people. And you know, that's how some guilds will die out. You know, over the years we've seen, of course, some of the biggest and, you know, most active guilds just sort of die out because you know, they stop taking new people, and then as people, you know, trickle away because, you know, life happens and, you know, people get into other games and stuff like that, you know, eventually, you know, suddenly there's not many people around, you can't fill your own raids, and you can't fill a group, and then the few people who are left are like, hey, there's not even enough people in this guild anymore, I'm going to go elsewhere. So one of the things that has led to, so you want to pull that lever right there, and that completes the furnace. See, it says arm the pit security trap, we're moving to the next objective. But there's one more thing I want to do here, and that is open up the shrine room. So I'm going to go do that. And there's a shrine at the bottom of this first pit, so I'm going to go do that. So how do we take in new people? Because like I said, we don't actively recruit. So we're a friends guild, and you know, basically we will sometimes reach out to people who we've become friends with. You know, Hardcore 3 is going on right now, so Nimbin's not leading as many raids. He's actually not leading his public raids at all, I think, right now. Because he's focused on hardcore. But normally we have even more public raids. So pulling this valve will open the door at the bottom for the shrine. You don't have to open that if you don't want to, but extra shrine, and there's a chest, I think, and a collectible down there as well, right over here. So run with us, get to know us. You know, join our raids, and we just go from there. It's a pile of rubble, and a chest and a shrine for later use. And like I said, we welcome everybody to join our public raids. It's okay if even if you've never raided before. We're happy to show you how the raids work. We have taught countless newbies how to raid over the years. So remember, I said green means the objective's done, and red means the objective is inaccessible. Yellow means it's the objective that you're working on. So now, see, Furnace 3's red, not accessible. Furnace 2's red, not accessible. But Furnace 1's already done, that's why it's green. So now we're moving on to arm the pit security traps. And that one is accessed off of the other stairwell. See, there's two main shafts, two main stairwells. There's one here in the northwest and one in the southeast. I think I misspoke earlier and called that southwest. How's the end game on Sarlona? There's a fair bit of raids. You know, there's a few different communities that are hosting raids pretty regularly. Overnight, there's like a lot of the Asian crew are running a lot of public LFMs for R10s. What I would say we don't have that some servers have is we don't have like a big, like, high skull raiding scene. You know, like if you're looking at like, you know, oh, I want to do R6 Strahd, or, you know, try to do like super high skull end game raiding, that, as far as I can tell, doesn't exist here. And I would say Sarlona, from what I can tell, doesn't have as big of like a power gamer community as some other servers. But there's definitely an endgame scene here. It's just not as hardcore as some of the other servers. Okay, here we are. This one's yellow. This is the objective that we're on. Remember, only one objective will ever be yellow at any given time, and that's the objective we're working on. I think Kyber has more of like a hardcore scene. So I know like lava divers are there, and they're doing like high skull raiding, for example. You know, they're the only group in the game that has done 2 out to handle on R2 that I know of. And I know we got at least one lava diver that hangs out here on my channel. And Patrick of DDO Cast is a lava diver. Before I start doing any rune wheels, I'm just going to clear all the mobs out. There's a few from lava divers. Cool. It's funny, years ago when I first started being a guest on DDO Cast, you know, Patrick and I would swap notes for raids all the time, and you know, we were doing raids oftentimes at higher difficulties than they were doing, but they seemed to have increased their power in the guild quite a bit, and now they're doing like uber raiding. Whereas in my guild, you know, we're just doing like, you know, if we do Strahd, we'll do R1, we'll do Baba on R1. You know, if we're doing like killing time, we just do that on legendary hard. 2 out to handle, we're just doing on normal. Project Nemesis, we're still just doing on hard. Have a good night, K-Love. Thanks for stopping in. Mostly a solo because of being a noob. Just got your brother's second life. Yeah, get raid flagged and start joining us for some raids. And tell us that you're new. When you join our raid, say, hey, it's my first time. So that way we'll know to explain it for you. Alright, that cheat sheet that I pulled up earlier told me that the red rune wheel needs to be set to the helmet. Some people call it the bow and arrow or the archer, whatever you like to call it. It's fine, but that's the symbol. And the solution is, you know, they're here inside this room, but, you know, why bother trying to memorize them or whatever? Like, for example, the solution to the green rune wheel is right. It's hard to see. It's right down there. And they're hidden all around. Some of them are like underneath platforms and stuff. Okay, the green rune wheel needs to be set to the elephant. Boom. The orange rune wheel needs to be set to the H. Alright, the blue rune wheel needs to be set to the alien. Or cactus on a hill if you prefer. Purple rune wheel needs to be set to the F. yellow rune wheel needs to be set to the scorpion. And all the rune wheels are in place now. Now we just need to pull the lever upstairs, and that will complete the objective. But I'm gonna destroy all these eggs. Somebody is comet falling me. Some dirty troglodyte warlock. I am on Sarlona. Now that all the rune wheels are in place, this barrier that was around the lever is gone, and that objective is done. Now it says start the second furnace, and I remember that the second furnace is down at the bottom, well, at the bottom layer of the southeast stairwell. See, this objective is green now because it's already done. See, it's green. So when you're passing green objectives, you know that it's already done. Alright, back down to the furnaces. It's just like a stoplight now. See, red means the third furnace is not accessible. Green means the first furnace is already done. Yellow means the second furnace is accessible but not done yet. Yellow, there's only one hall that's ever yellow at a time, and that's the objective you're working on. Alright, here's the valve we're going to pull at the bottom of this furnace so that we can eventually get to the optional at the end and maybe pull a Muck Doom. I think I pulled one last life. I think I thought that. Again, blue fire shield's great to mitigate 50% of damage that you're going to get from these nasty fire elementals that are trying to blast you with their firewalls. To get across here, you know, you got an air jet blowing at you. Just come over here on this pipe and jump across from the side. That way you won't get blown back. And we're going to come up here and hit this valve. That'll turn off those air jets. And if you have a decent jump, then you can just come across here and jump up here. And you can blast away those fire ellies if you want. Otherwise, you can just take some hits while you're climbing up this ladder, if it's not that big of a deal. I'm going to keep using our Mario skills in order to get up to over here. And we're going to pull that lever. This is going to complete the objective. I think that valve just turns off those acid jets. Okay, the second furnace is done. Now it says reset the power breakers. Well, I don't remember where the power breakers are, so let's look at the cheat sheet on the DDO wiki. And one of the things I don't like about that cheat sheet is that they're not labeled exactly as, you know, that says reset the power breakers, but on the map it's labeled main breaker. I wish it was just labeled power breaker. In any event, that's also located here off of the southeastern stairwell, but must be up from here, the furnace, because the furnace is the bottom layer of objectives. The only thing below the furnaces, oops, I went the wrong way, is the final optional at the end. That one's green, already done. That's not the objective we're working on. Hey, there's a yellow crystal. That means that's the objective that we're working on. So here's a bunch of lightning traps, and you gotta, you know, figure out which lever is gonna ultimately... Oh, dirty Carnage Reaper. Where did you come from? One of these levers at random is gonna hold on the barrier for that lever in the back. See the lever that's behind the barrier? Maybe I can equip my electrical absorption goggles. Yes, I know there's a workaround, but I do not like showing that kind of stuff on my live stream. I like to show things working as intended. I mean, I can get in trouble for showing certain workarounds. Jeopardize my status as an official DDO fan site, and you know, potentially even get other disciplinary actions taken against me. Don't want that. Okay, did not mean to cast that Sleet Storm. Hey, that was it. So now we can pull this lever. And that completes that objective. And... chest. There's a trap in here too, I think. Sarlona, yep. Oh, we're not the big dogs. Like I said, just get raid flagged and start joining our public raids. And let us know that you're new, and we'll explain how the raid works to you. No big whoop. Hey, Lasu. You're watching Downplay Pathfinder, cool. I appreciate you saying hello. Now we gotta power up main control. I don't remember where main control is. So I'm gonna look at the cheat sheet from DDO Wiki. Looks like it's accessed via the northwest stairwell. So, well, we're at the top of the northwest stairwell now, so it's not here. But sometimes you can like look over and try to see some other objectives. See if you can see that yellow signal crystal. And there it is. See, signal crystal's yellow. So that's the objective we're working on. Time to rebuff. This one can kind of be a little bit of a pain to solo because it's just endless respawns. It's really nice when you have more than one person here because one person can focus on killing trash and keeping the trash occupied while others work on doing the puzzles. So. But here you just have to light up all 4 of the runes around the puzzle. I don't even have the solutions memorized. I just figure it out every time. That one's done. I guess all 3 of the runes is what you gotta light up. No, that wouldn't be right. Nerve Messiah, good evening and welcome to you. Just doing a little tutorial of the pit here since I'm level 9. A dreaded quest in DDO, very confusing to newer players. But an excellent one to learn because it is a monster XP quest. Technically, it can be soloed. There's only one person in the game that I know of that has ever soloed it, and that's Rice. And it cannot be reliably soloed. It's pretty unrealistic to think you're going to go solo it, but it can be very reliably duoed. So I would suggest, you know, find a friend who's willing to run it with you, and you can I have a duo video of it. But the thing is, in order to solo it, it requires a lot of luck. It requires you to be very, well, you don't have to necessarily be very fast, but it requires a lot of luck, and you need to be able to self-raise, and not just Gibber's Blade. You need to have a way to self-raise in the game. So it's kind of, you know, and not only so you need to self-raise, and the luck part is you got to be able to run across goggles blindly. And it just, there are ways to increase your chances of being successful doing that, but at the end of the day, it's luck. You know, you got to be lucky enough to get across goggles without being able to see it, right? So, like I said, it's kind of not very realistic to solo the raid. It's more of a thing like people, if they wanted to do it, just to be able to say they did it. But it is very realistic to duo it. And like I said, I do have a video up if you want to see that. I'm going to get you the link here in a minute as soon as I finish this nonsense. I'm getting molested by constant ooze spawns. And troglodyte spawns. Alright, that objective is done.
He could have.
They even respawn after it's completed. There's a video of me and a guildie duoing it from a few years ago. You don't really have friends? Well, I would recommend making a friend who is interested in duoing it with you. What server are you on? Hey Doug, good evening and welcome. Turn on the bilge pump. I gotta look to see where that is. Bilge pump is accessed off of the northwest stairwell. And here we are. Caneth. You might want to look in the Caneth's forum, because there might be people doing public abbot raids. I think there's a couple other servers where there's guilds that host public abbot raids. I can't remember if Caneth is one of them. It might be. I think there was somebody at least one time, and I did a video project on Caneth, and I remember there being one at the time, but that was quite a while ago. SDG, good evening and welcome, and thank you for the gifted subs to Nerve Messiah and Mojo. Nerve Messiah and Mojo just got gifted subs from SDG. So there's an old school gag here. There's an old school gag here, as you would tell a newbie to stand here at this gate and let everybody else know when it opens. But this gate never opens. It's the old snipe hunting ruse. Oh, shriney shrine here. Now we gotta light the third furnace. You want the quivers for TR. Do you know about the iconic past life stance for Tiefling Scoundrel? Well, it's actually worth mentioning for everybody. See, Tiefling Scoundrel is fairly new, right? The past life stance, the iconic past life stance for our Tiefling Scoundrel is striding, and if you have it triple stacked, in other words, if you have your 3 Tiefling Scoundrel past lives, it's 30% striding that you can activate at level 1. So that can circumvent the need for a quiver, and if you're a soloer, that might be an easier path for you to take. Because trying to get 20 completions of Abbot solo is going to be a giant headache. In any event, you know, and then, you know, obviously you have to activate that iconic stance, which circumvents your ability to activate a different one. But, you know, the point is, you activate it at level 1, and just keep that iconic stance until you get striding 30 from another source, you know, later on in Heroics. Then you switch to the iconic stance that you want. So it's not really that big of a deal. Astronaut, welcome to my channel. This is based on 3rd edition, or 3.5, loosely. Third furnace, bottom of the southeast stairwell, right there. First 2 furnaces are done. That's why those first 2 signal crystals are green. 3rd furnace is now accessible, which is why it's yellow. Alright, here's our 3rd valve for 3rd furnace. That's going to open up the optional at the bottom that we'll do at the end. We'll kill the named ooze there, and we'll have a chance to pull the Muck Doom, which is a wonderful Lobi ooze beater, which is like, you know, the next level version of the Muckbane, basically. Alright, if I'm quick, I can actually do this myself. Woot. Otherwise, you're going to need 2 bodies. And I will need 2 bodies here in a bit. Now, if you're lucky, you can actually get that thing to shoot you all the way up. So if you don't have 2 bodies, then you may want to just keep going for that. Now here... Oh, crap. Alright, I'm going to come back. What we're going to do is we're going to pop out the ex-girlfriend here, Illyri. Put her on passive. Parker there. Peter Parker there. And then she's going to pull that valve for us once we get back up. Maybe this time it'll blow us all the way up. Oh, crap. Well, I'm getting bounced around a little bit there. Or wait a minute, actually I think I can just do this. Yeah. And then jump over here. Yeah. That's better. And then we'll come over here. We'll call Illyri to us. Parker there. Stand on this Mario pipe. Target that valve. Tell her to hit it. And that will blow us up to here, which is where we want to be. And this is the... Except when you get a frickin' dot from a nasty-ass demon soul, you're gonna die. But I staunched up. Will that even prevent death? I don't know. I got 4 dots. Oh my god, that's obnoxious. It's still hitting me from the other side. Jeez, oh Pete's. This is what I talked about the other day on the live stream, how certain combinations of champions can just ruin your effing day. Fire elementals that have like dots, like a demon soul, for example. Look at that. You saw me almost die. If I didn't have staunch, I would have been dead. Because just his aura or any of his fireballs is going to stack you up with those dots. It's so nasty. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go and just try to blast him quickly. He's got 2 dots on me. Oh, Uncle Voodoo's going to die. Yeah, I mean, shit's ridiculous. I thought I was going to staunch up to survive it. I didn't have enough charges to do staunch. So what do I do now? Cry. No, we don't cry. There's no crying in DDO. What I'm going to do is I'm going to gibbers up. That's going to give me 1 minute to do what I need to do. Okay, so I'm already here at the objective, so I'm just going to quickly pull this lever. That completes the 3rd furnace. Then I'm going to get the hell out of dodge, and I'm going to run back to the 1st furnace because I know there's a shrine there. And I can get to that shrine before my 1 minute of life expires. Run, run, run. It's way more fun. We'll hit a little rallying cry to give us some speed boost. Okay, furnace 1 is over here, as they say in Nolans. And we got 20 seconds of life left. See, the Gibber's Blade raises you as a Wraith for 1 minute, and then you die again. But the point is, it gives you enough time, if you're soloing, to run back to a shrine, which I just did. Or if you raid wiped, Gibbers can give you 1 minute of life, so you can get up and start throwing some raise scrolls to your party, and you can save a raid. It's the only item in the game that allows you to self-raise in a raid. So, I mean, the Cursed Blade of Jack Gibbers is one of the best items in the game, and I mean, any tune that you're serious about ought to have it. It comes from Epic, Two-Toed Tobias in 3 Barrel Cove, and there it is. It has no minimum level, and like I said, you get 1 charge per rest, and it allows you to self-raise, save a wipe, or if you're soloing, give you time to run back to a shrine. Such a great item. Water down the alcohol. Alright, so unfortunately we lost 10% XP because we died because of a stupid champion and his stupid dots. But that's okay. We'll find a way to live our lives, even though that happened. Okay, restart the intake system is the last objective. It's located all the way at the top. Some kind of acid damage mitigation is helpful here, because of all these nasty, nasty Melf's acid arrows that these guys are shooting at you. Even if you just got a wand of, a 7th level wand of, resist energy, that's helpful. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so once we approach, there's 3 levers we gotta pull, or 2 levers and a valve. So once we approach this one here, mobs will spawn, 4 of them on each side. So go ahead and just approach it and quickly take out these mobs. Okay. Approach this side, and mob spawn. Take them out. And you can take them out to dinner, you can take them out to a movie, you know, whatever. Okay. Do I need to break these eggs? I've already got the egg breaking optional, and I already got ransack, so I don't even know if these eggs count as breakables, do they? This is why I can't stand blasting to break breakables. Well, it does count. It's just so unreliable. Alright, we're going to... yeah, there's another group of mobs here. No, you don't have to do chamber 20 times to upgrade the quiver. I was just saying, like, because you need it. That's an old school raid, so on your 20th completion, you get a list of raid items from it. You know, and it's a rare drop in the chest, so good luck getting it. I mean, you might get lucky, but you're more than likely going to have to wait to your 20th completion, and even then, you're only going to have about a 75% chance that the quiver's on that list. I forgot to pull these levers. Alright, and we are done. We are about to get a massive amount of XP. What do I have, a 20% pot going? I have a 30% pot going. almost 55,000 XP. Hell yeah. Breeze is supposed to be a nice quarterstaff. You know, I love Abbott because, you know, a 12-year-old raid still has loot that's either relevant or best in slot in the case of the quiver. But, you know, Breeze is supposed to be a nice quarterstaff. The bow, you know, Unwavering Ardency is still a really good bow for upper heroics. I guess the swords still can be good for heroics. Of course, you've got Litany of the Dead, which is still a viable trinket. It's not best in slot like it used to be, but still a very usable trinket. Even the ring's not a bad intimidate and resistance item for heroics. Of course, you got Vile Blasphemy, one of the best spell point clickies in the game. It is the only spell point clicky in the game that's not exclusive, so you can have a whole bunch of them on your tune. Alright, right down here, we're going to find the Avatar of Jubilus. And if we kill him, then we're going to get this chest. Is he immune to everything I'm doing? I don't see him taking any damage. I don't even see any 0 numbers though. What the hell? It's almost like... Dragonborn would be an excellent choice. Dragonborn would also complement the tankiness of it because it got some nice defensive enhancements in the enhancement tree. Alright, we finally got it done. No Muck Doom. And that is the pit. Any questions?